Assalamu alaikum. 6 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Sumera Kamal. The headlines first. Federal Cabinet has approved Kamyab Jawan program to economically empower youth. Foreign Minister is in Kyrgyzstan to attend a meeting of Council of Foreign Ministers of SCO in Bishkek. Advisor to Prime Minister on Commerce says the government is adopting all possible measures to facilitate investors in various sectors of economy to attract more investments in the country. Pakistan and Qatar have agreed to further strengthen frequent interaction between the parliamentarians and to strengthen economic cooperation. In occupied Kashmir, complete shutdown was observed across the valley today to commemorate the martyrdom of anniversaries of prominent liberation leaders. In Afghanistan, over 40 militants have been killed during security forces operations against Taliban in Ghazni province. The federal cabinet has approved Kamyab Jawan program to economically empower youth. And now the news in detail. This was announced at a media briefing by Prime Minister's Special Assistant on Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Firdaus Ashik Ewan, in Islamabad this afternoon. She said under the program, a youth can get loan from 100,000 to 5 million rupees in two categories. She said under the first category, banks will provide loan up to 500,000 rupees at 6% markup with lending equity of 10% of the amount applied. Under the second category, an applicant can get loan up to 5 million rupees at a markup of 8% and equity ratio of 20%, she added. Dr. Firdaus Ashik Ewan said 25% of the loan will be granted to women to make youth self-employed to overcome inflation and joblessness. She said Minister for Federal Education and Professional Training gave a detailed and comprehensive briefing on new education policy. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has arrived in Bishkek to attend a two-day meeting of the Council of Foreign Ministers of Shanghai Cooperation Organization countries in Bishkek. Pakistani ambassador and senior officials of Kyrgyzstan received the foreign minister at the airport. The meeting beginning today will approve important documents which will later be adopted by the Council of Heads of States meeting to be held in Bishkek next month. The foreign minister will deliver his remarks at the plenary session of the meeting. Earlier, talking to media prior to leaving of Bishkek, the foreign minister said he will have opportunity to exchange views with foreign ministers of 8 countries who will be attending the meeting. Besides, Shah Mahmood Qureshi said he will hold bilateral meetings with 3 dignitaries, including the foreign ministers of China and Russia. Advisor to Prime Minister on Commerce Abdul Razak Dawood has said the government is adopting all possible measures to facilitate investors in various sectors of economy to attract more investments in the country. Talking to Bulgarian delegation led by the Deputy Minister of Economy Lilia Ivanova in Islamabad, he said ease of doing business reforms is the topmost priority of the government and this is the right time to invest in various sectors of economy in Pakistan. The advisor extended the invitation to the Bulgarian investors to come and invest in Pakistan, especially in the areas of automobiles, engineering, and agriculture. The Bulgarian Deputy Minister of Economy appreciated the current government's efforts to introduce business-friendly policies in Pakistan, which will facilitate the investors. Speaker National Assembly Asad Qaisar has emphasized the need to further solidify existing bonds between Pakistan and Qatar through parliamentary cooperation. He was talking to Qatar Ambassador Sakr bin Mubarak al-Mansouri, who called on him in Islamabad today. Speaker Asad Qaisar said Pakistan attaches immense importance to its relations with Qatar since both the countries are tied in eternal bonds of religion, brotherhood, history, and culture. He underlined the need for participation of Qatari investors in power and infrastructure development projects in Pakistan. The ambassador of Qatar said Qatari National Assembly is also keen to enhance its cooperation with National Assembly of Pakistan. He expressed confidence that fraternal ties between both the countries would further strengthen by frequent interaction between the parliamentarians of 2 countries and economic cooperation. Pakistan and Bulgaria have agreed to work together for promotion of bilateral trade and investment. The agreement was reached at the two-day second session of Pakistan-Bulgaria Intergovernmental Commission, which concluded in Islamabad today. Secretary Economic Affairs Division Noor Ahmed led the Pakistani side, while Bulgaria's Deputy Minister of Economy, Lilia Ivanova, headed her country's delegation. On the conclusion, an agreement on avoidance of double taxation and the prevention of fiscal evasion with respect to taxes on economy was also signed. This is Radio Pakistan. Commander of the Polish Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Jaroslaw Majka, called on Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa at GHQ in Rawalpindi today. Issues of mutual interest, including defense, training, and security cooperation between the two armies, were discussed. Visiting dignitary acknowledged and appreciated Pakistan Army's professionalism, efforts in fight against terrorism, and contributions towards regional peace and stability. Earlier on arrival at GHQ, the commander of the Polish Armed Forces laid floral wreath at Yadgar-e-Shohada. A contingent of Pakistan Army presented guard of honor to the visiting dignitary. Commander Polish Armed Forces Lieutenant General Jaroslaw Majka visited air headquarters in Islamabad today and called on Air Chief Mujahid Anwar Khan. Various matters pertaining to regional security and areas of mutual cooperation came under discussion during the meeting. Commander Polish Armed Forces lauded the sound professionalism of PAF. The Army Chief appreciated enviable relations between both the air forces and also acknowledged the key role played by pioneering Polish officers in the development and modernization of PAF in its early years. Both the dignitaries agreed to further enhance and expand mutual cooperation and defense ties between the two countries. In occupied Kashmir, complete shutdown marked by curfew-like restrictions was observed across the valley today to commemorate the martyrdom anniversaries of prominent liberation leaders Mirwais Maulvi Muhammad Farooq and Khwaja Abdul Ghani Lone. According to Kashmir Media Service, all shops, other business establishments, and educational institutions remained closed while traffic was off the road. Call for the strike and a march towards Martyrs' Graveyard at Eidgah in Srinagar was given by the resistance leadership to pay tributes to the martyrs. The authorities had imposed curfew and other restrictions in the different areas of the city to prevent the march. In Afghanistan, 42 militants were killed and several others injured when government forces conducted operations against Taliban hideouts in Ghazni province. According to Afghan officials, the air-backed operations launched in the troubled Andar and Dayak districts. Meanwhile, 4 Daesh militants have been killed in an operation of security forces in Cherpahar district of Nangarhar province. In India, 11 people, including a lawmaker and 4 of his family, were killed in an ambush by separatists militia in the eastern state of Arunachal Pradesh. In Saudi Arabia, Yemen's Houthi rebels launched drone attack at Najran airport, striking an arms depot there. According to the Arab coalition spokesperson, Colonel Turki al-Maliki, the Houthis had tried to target a civilian infrastructure in Najran. He warned that there would be a strong deterrent to such attacks. In Indonesia, President Joko Widodo has won election for the second term in the office. The country's elections commission announced the result a day earlier amid fears of unrest after his rival Prabowo vowed to challenge any victory for the incumbent leader. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, dust, thunderstorm, rain is expected at scattered places at Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab, Bahawalpur, Multan, Dera Ghazi Khan, Sahiwal, Sargodha, Faisalabad, Lahore, Gujranwala, Rawalpindi divisions, Islamabad and Kashmir, while at isolated places in Quetta, Kalat, Job divisions and Gilgit-Baltistan. To end the news, here are the headlines once again. Federal Cabinet has approved Kamyab Jawan program to economically empower youth. Foreign Minister is in Kyrgyzstan to attend a meeting of Council of Foreign Ministers of SCO in Bishkek. Advisor to Prime Minister on Commerce says the government is adopting all possible measures to facilitate investors in various sectors of economy to attract more investments in the country. In Afghanistan, over 40 militants have been killed during security forces operations against Taliban in Ghazni province. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live streaming of our bulletin on the link facebook.com/radio Pakistan News Official.